Hello everyone, I hope you're well. Today's video is going to be a book review, and it's a review of the book The Burning by Laura Bates. I actually heard about this book and I had to read it, so I contacted the publishers, Simon & Schuster, and they very kindly sent me a copy to review. So this is by Laura Bates. Laura Bates is a very well-known feminist in the UK. This is a YA novel and it's all to do with revenge porn. So if you don't know what that is, it's basically when someone sends a sexual picture of themselves, so let's say it's a nude, to someone with the intention of the person who receives that picture just to look at it themselves, and then the person who receives the picture, how it becomes revenge porn is when they post it online, they send it to their friends, they put it on pornographic websites to shame the person who has sent them the picture in the first place. It's a disgusting thing. So this book is about a teenage girl called Anna. And Anna used to live in Birmingham, but for some reason she sent this picture. It goes into it, but I don't want to spoil it for you. She sends a sexual picture of herself, and the boy who receives the picture puts the picture online and shares it with their whole entire school. So she has to move schools from Birmingham to a small coastal town in Scotland. So she goes to Scotland and she's there with her mum, and from the first page you really feel like Anna is in so much torment. She's ashamed of herself, she hates herself, she feels like she's almost like this ugly creature. She makes loads of lists to try and survive life, and she has to start this brand new school, and she wants to be completely invisible. She doesn't want anyone to know anything about her. She doesn't really want to make any friends. She just wants to kind of be invisible so she can't be hurt. I felt Anna's pain so much, and I felt so emotional while reading this book. So anyway, because those nude pictures were put online, the people at her new school see the pictures. And then her nightmare and torment begins again. So it's all about like the torment of social media, how easily things can be shared around, and how people put all the shame on the person who's in the nude picture, which is predominantly a female, that all the shame is on the female, not the person who distributed it, not the person who it was originally sent to, who decided to share it to their friends, not any of those people. It's all the shame on like the woman, or in this case the girl. All the shame is on her. So the subplot within the book is that she has to do a school project on someone of local person of interest, and she finds out about a witch, and not a lot have been written about this witch, so you don't really know what's happened to the witch, but you know that a long time ago a woman was found to be a witch. So then throughout the book you have this subplot of her doing her homework project and trying to find out more about the witch. So this book is so clever because it's saying, if you think about olden day witchcraft, which a lot of it was done if a woman was deemed to be too sexual, she's a witch, stuff like that. Someone would just have to say she's a witch and that made her a witch. She could have a child, be an unwed mother, and then the man who was the child of her baby, who didn't want to marry her or be with her, could say, I think she's a witch. So it was all about punishing women. And so this book is trying to say that if we think about revenge porn, it's all about punishing the woman, putting the shame on the woman. Why would she send that picture? She's disgusting, she's this, she's that, she's damaged goods, her pictures everywhere. It's all about the shame on the woman. And if you think about witchcraft, how that worked to shame women, it's done so cleverly. I really enjoyed this book. I thought it was fantastic, and also how revenge porn is the modern day witch trials now. How we can put women who send these pictures, none of the blame is on the boys or men who share the pictures, it's all on the woman who sent the picture. She is shameful, she is wrong, let's have a public trial on her, let's online or leave horrible, vicious, malicious comments on her online. And it's just such a good book. I really, really loved this book. I thought it was fantastically written. I loved Anna, and it also deals with the relationship of her friends, because when everyone finds out at school, everyone turns their back on her, and it's about that, people turning their back on you, people seeing you as this shameful creature that no one's allowed to speak to anymore. And if anyone speaks to you, it's like that witch thing, like, oh, you were seen talking to the witch, so now you're a witch. I am, interestingly, reading a book about the Salem witch trials, which I've spoken about on this channel. It's a great book, all in depth into each of the women who were found to be witches, and it's very much like she was found talking to that girl who's a witch, so she must be a witch. It's all this whole like mentality of people turning it on someone. I loved the book. I cannot recommend it enough. I thought it was really good. It was really emotional. There's a lot of strong language within it, but I think it's reflective of how like kids talk these days, because I remember when I was younger and I like would read YA, and I think children just don't talk like this, like, oh gee, oh you're a bad person. Like, they don't talk like that. They use horrible language to abuse other people. So there were a lot of language within it, but I thought it was really like realistic of life now. And also I think that a lot of parents don't want to talk about revenge porn. They're like, it would never happen to my child would never send a nude, my son would never ask a girl for a nude, because sometimes it's a very manipulative thing. A teenage boy might say something like, if you don't send me that nude picture of you, I'm not going to date you, or I'm going to tell everyone you're frigid. And it's used as like a bullying, manipulative tactic. And parents don't want to talk to their children about revenge porn, which winds me up, because they're like, my child wouldn't engage within that. And I think this book is great because it's a YA. It just goes straight to the teens who are going to be affected by this. And a lot of teenagers say, oh, my friends send nudes, because people say, oh, it's no big deal, everyone sends a nude, and so I feel like I should send a nude. And I think it deals with that whole situation because it just goes right to the source, right to the teenagers. If parents won't talk to their kids about it, then at least they can give them this book to read about it. I would really recommend giving this book if you have a teenager. If you're a teenage son or a teenage girl, it doesn't matter. I would really recommend you giving them this book. I really enjoyed it. I also love the cover and the burning to do with the witch trials and everything, and the burning of like how she feels when she's walking into the cafeteria and everyone's screaming at her and shouting at her. Such a good book, such an important book as well for our time right now where we are, and with social media getting more and more popular. Really great book. So that's it, that's the end of the video. Thanks to Laura Bates for doing such a fantastic book that I think is really, really needed within this time, and a YA that doesn't show, it's done nicely, and it's about friendship, and it's a very realistic book. So this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed this book. Tell me down below if you have any other YA recommendations, because I don't read YA, but this was absolutely brilliant. So if you have any YA recommendations for me, leave them down below, and I'll see you again soon for another video.